So first up, I want to apologize about the disaster yesterday where I had it way later than expected. Unfortunately, that's what sickness does to you. It makes you completely limp and unable to do any work, and you just want to sleep all day. As a matter of fact, as I'm recording this, the video's just uploading in front of me. But enough of that, it's time to go third party. It's rather peculiar how third-party Legends figures got their start. I'm not sure if Make Toys came out with their two Legion Legends figures before Iron Factory came out with theirs, but they were pretty much ignored because they were pretty terrible. Now, I'm not going to be discussing them this year, but I do in fact own them. But originally, Iron Factory was not a Legends company. They were an upgrade company. Their first release was an upgrade for War for Cybertron Grimlock, and I think it was actually quite a fun set. I do also own that one. And that led to the conception of an upgrade for Metroplex, specifically two smaller figures. What many people don't realise is that this figure and his partner were not meant to be self-contained figures. They were supposed to be an upgrade kit for the big Metroplex lad himself. However, they were so good that they ended up starting a trend that couldn't possibly be stopped. Full disclosure, this is not everything that comes in the pack. It also comes with two weapon pods that you can split apart and do all sorts of crazy stuff with. Thing is, this is a Legends marathon, not an upgrade kit marathon, and I feel if I go into depth about what you can do with all those guns, it'll take away from the pure, simple joy of these two figures, because Vangelis said, oh, you need to think about all the other parts of the weapon pods, otherwise you're throwing out a third of the box price. But I feel for $50 you're getting two Legends figures, $25 each. It is well worth the price of admission, considering Legends retail in Australia for about $20 each. So we have Turrets and Manacle by their third-party names, but no one cares about that, so I will be referring to them as Sixgun and Slam Tank or Slammer. I like to call him Slammer. I'm not sure if he ever had a robot mode. I don't think he ever had a robot mode. But regardless, he is an incredibly cool tank mode, and Sixgun is an incredibly cool gun mode. He doesn't actually turn into 6 guns, he turns into 4 guns, and you can kind of use the weapon pods to do the other 2. But I do use 2 parts of the weapon pods just in these rocker pods on the legs that become part of that, and it works really well. The tank mode is also pretty good. You've got lovely blue paint here and silver over here. The colour matching on the white isn't as good as it could be over here. And you've got the thighs just visible at the back here, and the contouring on the tank is a little bit off. But it's not terrible. These are pretty good alt modes, especially Sixgun. I really like the way his guns work, even if his face is visible from certain angles. And they're about regular Legend sized. There's nothing really special about the size that they present. Transformation is quite simple. There is a little bit of parts forming in the form of guns, but it's nowhere near as bad as the Siege version. After removing those, you can kind of just bring this whole section down and up, and these will naturally move apart. Make sure to fold the clip in, otherwise it looks like a wiener. Then you bring down the rocker pods. You don't have to bring down the rocker pods, because the rocker pods are just in by 5mm pegs, and they're not even supposed to be there. They're just part of the weapon pods. They're optional. Also, I should probably mention, these are all 5mm compatible as well. Brilliant thing about Iron Factory, it's all 5mm compatible. You can use them on any mainline transformer, which is brilliant. But enough gushing. The arms fold out, the backpack gun folds like that, and then you slide the two together to form a very lovely robot mode. Standing is pretty easy. You can then bring these guns on the side, and then you can arm him up with any guns from the rocker pods. But personally, I like to go for a little bit of homebrew on this one. I got some extra guns that came with a renderform kit. I can't remember what renderform kit it was, but I prefer to use those two, because then he's got dual guns, dual shoulder guns, and then also rocker pods on the feet, and the guns on the back. He is armed to the T. But I'll leave him off to the side, because I got a transform Slammer. Slammer transforms quite easily. You don't have to take this off, but this turns into the weapons later, so I tend to take it off anyway. Oh no, it's a different kind of parts forming. Seriously, it's nowhere near as bad as Siege anyway. First thing you want to do is take these parts out and rotate them down. You take these feet, bring them out, just like so. It's best if you push in there, then that allows you to pull the rest out. From here, these arms fold out like this, very similar to a Hasbro Legend. You bring it out here, the arms fold forward, and the entire torso folds down like so. You rotate the waist 180 degrees, and he forms a very compact Legends figure. You can stick the turret on the arm, you can leave it on the back during transformation, you don't have to take it off. But what you can also do is separate it to two separate parts. You can put that on there as a buckler, and this on here as a laser. Just gotta make sure it's all straightened out. And oh my word, these are two lovely small Legends figures. Definitely in the realm of smaller characters being represented to scale with the larger figures, but they still hold up remarkably well, even compared to several of Iron Factory's newer releases. They've gone a little bit complex with their later ones, but these hold their own sort of charm. Sculpt-wise, they've got a lot of personality to them, and their different sizes do reflect that a bit as well. You've got the stout Slammer, and the nice and tall and slender but armoured up Sixgun. Yes, these cannons here aren't really optional, they're supposed to go there, but you know, you can take them off if you want to, but why would you take them off? It's brilliant. Articulation's pretty standard on both of them. You've got a ball-jointed head, ball-jointed shoulders, ball-jointed wrists. You can move these out of the way to get the full motion, which is brilliant, because last time we had some limited outward motion. On tailgate wasn't great. Full movement here on the ball joints. Proper thigh swivel, also a tailgate issue. Not present on these. A lovely knee bend thanks to transformation. You can also, you know, make him drop his junk out, but I don't want to do that. Very similar articulation here. The ball jointed head is a little bit hard to get to, but you can get to it. These parts actually move out to get some extra movement, but it doesn't really look very good. You don't need that much though. Ball joints work perfectly here. Ball joints work perfectly here. Waist swivel. You couldn't really do that on 6-shot because of the connection ports. They could have re-engineered it, but it's not too big of a deal. Ball joints, thigh swivel. Another fantastic knee bend thanks to the transformation. These guys have basically everything. If they had an ab crunch, they'd pretty much be perfect. But, you know, an ab crunch on a Legends figure isn't really that big of a deal. Some people might prefer an ankle tilt, but I'd say an ab crunch would be cooler, but still, we're only just getting ab crunches on Legends figures regularly nowadays. In Magic Square and the recent Iron Factory stuff, it's not a common thing, and these were the first of their kind. Several Legends figures don't hold up to these guys. It's a testament to how good they were at the time, and how good they continue to be. So from here, what happened? Well, they decided to take another crack at it with an Ultra Magnus and a Windblade, and then when people really loved what they were doing, they decided, hang on a second, let's do this for real. And one thing led to another, and here we are today with oh so many characters being announced, and I am so hyped for all of them. Run amok and runabout! In Legend scale! Think about it for a second! That being said though, I still think that their first release is one of their strongest releases. It is simply a small box of fun. Of course this score applies to both figures, but I don't want to take the other one out yet because it's back in its baggie. I'd actually go as far as to say that the Iron Factory release is better than the recent Siege release, simply because his Legends scale, and I prefer Legends scale, and I'm totally right in every single way because I'm a YouTuber. Enough joking around, this is just a pure bundle of joy, and I am so happy it led to so many greater things. And you know what? Tomorrow I think we should do another Iron Factory figure, so let's go to the Fembots!